When Jake asked Oliver's mother, Carol, "Is Jordan really the right person?" I quietly took out my phone and started recording. For 6 months I had been documenting how Jake was trying to slander me, how he sabotaged our wedding preparations, everything. Now it was time to reveal the truth in front of everyone at the family dinner. My name is Jordan Blake. I'm 28 years old, and I work as a creative director at an advertising agency in Portland. I've been with my boyfriend Oliver Sullivan for 3 years, and we got married last month. Oliver's older brother, Jake Sullivan, is 32 years old, a partner in a construction company, and someone determined to make my life hell. My problem with Jake started from the day I met Oliver. When Oliver first introduced me to his family, I'll never forget the expression on Jake's face. It was like he had encountered a dangerous stranger. "So, you're Jordan," he had said in a cold voice. "Oliver has talked about you a lot." But the way he talked wasn't positive at all. From that first evening, Jake started testing me, trying to find my weak points. Oliver's family, his mother Carol, father Frank, and Jake, is a very close family. Especially Jake, who raised Oliver with a very protective attitude. Since Oliver is 4 years younger than Jake, Jake saw himself as his protector. In the first few months, Jake's behavior seemed like just protective big brother behavior. He asked normal questions like, "Is Jordan's job stable? What are his future plans?" But over time, these questionings turned into harassment. As my relationship with Oliver became serious, Jake's attitude also hardened. Especially when the topic of marriage came up, Jake started completely opposing it. "Oliver, you're still very young," he would say constantly. "There's no need to rush." But the real problem was what Jake was saying to his mother Carol about me. Oliver had told me, "Jordan, Jake constantly tells my mother suspicious things about you. He asks questions like, 'What do we know about Jordan's past?'" Although I was uncomfortable with this situation, I didn't want to confront Jake directly. I didn't want to spoil Oliver's relationship with his family. But things got much worse. When we got engaged, Jake's attempts to interfere with wedding preparations began. The first sabotage attempt was related to the wedding venue. Oliver and I had reserved a beautiful countryside wedding venue we liked. But a week later, the venue owner called and said he wanted to cancel the reservation. "Another event came up. I'm very sorry," he had said. But we learned from Oliver's cousin that Jake had talked to the venue owner and said, "There are problems with the wedding within the family." The second sabotage attempt was with the catering company. The owner of the company we chose suddenly doubled the prices. Again, Jake's fingerprints were on it. "Oliver, why is Jake doing this?" I had asked. "I don't know. Maybe because of wedding stress." But I knew Jake was acting deliberately. He was trying to separate Oliver from me. The third sabotage attempt was the most painful. On the morning of the wedding day, half of the flower arrangements didn't come. The florist said there was a misunderstanding at the last minute. The wedding day passed in chaos, but we finally got married. Jake wore a fake smile at the wedding and acted polite, but he couldn't hide the displeasure in his eyes. After we returned from our honeymoon, Jake's behavior continued. He was trying to come between Oliver and me, trying to exclude me from family gatherings. One day I finally couldn't stand it anymore and decided to talk to Jake face to face. "Jake, do you have a problem with me?" I asked. "Problem? No, Jordan. I'm just doing my big brother duty." "What big brother duty? Sabotaging our wedding?" Jake put on an innocent expression. "What sabotage? I'm just thinking about Oliver's happiness. Canceling venue reservations, raising catering prices, canceling flowers. Are these coincidences? Can you prove it?" That's when I realized how calculating Jake was being. He was doing everything in a way that he could deny. From that day on, I decided to document Jake's behavior. I installed a voice recording app on my phone and recorded every conversation with Jake. The first recording was Jake's phone call to Oliver. When Oliver was in the bathroom, Jake called him. "Oliver, this marriage with Jordan seems rushed. Are you sure he's the right person?" Oliver replied, "Jake, please, I love Jordan and I'm happy. But you're young, inexperienced. What do you know about Jordan's past, his old relationships, debts?" I had recorded this conversation. It was proof that Jake was systematically trying to slander me. The second important recording was Jake's conversation with his mother, Carol. Before the family dinner, The two were talking in the kitchen. Mom, Jordan has a lot of influence over Oliver. Oliver doesn't spend time with us anymore. Jake, maybe this is normal. Married people spend more time with their spouses. But Jordan is distancing Oliver from us. Don't you see this? Carol had said, maybe you're right, in an uncertain voice. This conversation showed how Jake was trying to influence his mother too. The third recording was Jake's conversation with his coworker. Jake was talking to someone on the phone. This Jordan issue needs to be resolved. Oliver deserves much better. I don't know how much Jordan earns, but he's not at Oliver's level. These conversations showed that Jake wasn't just jealous of me, but was actively trying to break up Oliver and me. The fourth recording was Jake's direct conversation with me. One day when Oliver wasn't there. Jordan, I want to be honest with you. I don't know how permanent you'll be in Oliver's life. What do you mean, Jake? Oliver is young. He can change. Don't get too attached to him. This was like an open threat. The fifth recording was Jake's conversation with his father, Frank. Dad, do you see Jordan's influence on Oliver? Oliver isn't the old Oliver anymore. Jake, maybe you're worrying too much. No, Dad. We need to see Jordan's true face. Over 6 months, I recorded a total of 47 conversations. It was clearly visible that Jake was systematically trying to slander me, inciting his family against me, trying to break up Oliver and me. The last recording was from last night's family dinner preparations. Jake had called Carol. Mom, we can bring up the Jordan issue again at tomorrow's dinner. We need to open Oliver's eyes. Jake, they're married now. Shouldn't we close this topic? No, Mom. We need to act before it's too late. This last conversation was what prompted me to action. It was time to settle accounts with Jake. When we went to the family dinner, Jake greeted us with his usual fake sincerity. Jordan, how are you? Are you taking good care of Oliver? He said, smiling. When we sat at the table, Jake started his old game again. Turning to Carol. Mom, how is Jordan's work going? Isn't the advertising sector very volatile? Before answering this question, I took out my phone and quietly started recording. My work is going very well, Jake. Don't worry about it. Of course. I'm just thinking about Oliver's future. Financial matters are important in marriage. Oliver was uncomfortable. Jake, please, let's not discuss these kinds of topics. But Jake continued. Oliver, these are important matters. How stable is Jordan's career? What are his future plans? Just then, Jake turned to Carol. Mom, is Jordan really the right person? I mean, doesn't Oliver deserve much better? When I heard this question, I had finally reached the end of my patience. Jake had been trying to slander me for 6 months, sabotaging our wedding. Now he was making fun of me at the family dinner. I put my phone in the middle of the table and opened the voice recording app. Actually, Jake, this is a very interesting question, because you've asked this question before. Jake's face changed. What do you mean? There's something I want everyone to listen to, I said, and started playing the first recording on my phone. Jake's voice spread from the speaker. Mom, this marriage with Jordan seems rushed. Are you sure he's the right person? What do you know about Jordan's past, his old relationships, debts? Everyone at the table froze. Carol's face was pale. Frank was looking at Jake in amazement. Oliver's mouth was open. Jake stammered, When was this recorded? Weeks ago, when you called him while Oliver was in the bathroom. I started playing the second recording, Jake's conversation with Carol in the kitchen. Mom, Jordan has a lot of influence over Oliver. Oliver doesn't spend time with us anymore. Jordan is distancing Oliver from us. Carol was in shock. Jake, you wanted me to doubt Jordan. Mom, I played the third recording, Jake's conversation with his coworker. This Jordan issue needs to be resolved. Oliver deserves much better. I don't know how much Jordan earns, but he's not at Oliver's level. Frank exploded. Jake, what does this mean? You're slandering Jordan? Dad, I'm just trying to protect Oliver. I played the fourth recording, Jake's direct conversation with me. Jordan, I want to be honest with you. I don't know how permanent you'll be in Oliver's life. Oliver is young, he can change. Don't get too attached to him. Oliver stood up. Jake, are you threatening Jordan? Oliver, I'm just telling the truth. I played the 5th recording. Jake's conversation with Frank. Dad, do you see Jordan's influence on Oliver? Oliver isn't the old Oliver anymore. We need to see Jordan's true face. Frank's face was red. Jake, how can you talk about Jordan like this? He's our family member now. And finally, I played yesterday's recording. Jake's conversation with Carol. Mom, we can bring up the Jordan issue again at tomorrow's dinner. We need to open Oliver's eyes. We need to act before it's too late. When the recording ended, there was deep silence at the table. Jake's face was white. His hands were trembling. Carol stood up and looked at Jake. Jake, have you been trying to incite us against Jordan for 6 months? Mom, I'm just trying to protect the family. What family, Jake? You're trying to divide the family. Oliver had also exploded. Jake, you sabotaged our wedding. You canceled venue reservations, raised catering prices, canceled flowers. Oliver, I didn't do those things. Didn't you? Then who is the Jake in these recordings? Frank looked at Jake sternly. Jake, you're going to apologize to Jordan, to him, and to all of us. Dad, I didn't do anything wrong. I'm just trying to protect Oliver. What protection, Jake? You're trying to distance Jordan from our family. Carol turned to me with tears in her eyes. Jordan, I'm so sorry. I believed what Jake said. You're a wonderful person, and Oliver loves you very much. Thank you, Carol. I just wanted the truth to come out. Jake made one last move by turning to Oliver. Oliver, are you going to take your brother's side or Jordan's side? Oliver answered decisively. Jake, Jordan is my husband, and you've been unfair to him for 6 months. Of course I'm on his side. Oliver, I'm your big brother. Yes, you're my big brother. But that doesn't give you the right to treat Jordan badly. Jake looked around desperately. Everyone was against him. Jake, Frank said, you're going to apologize to Jordan, and this behavior will end. I won't apologize. Jordan isn't the right person for Oliver. Oliver exploded. Jake, enough! You can't interfere in my life. I married Jordan and I'm happy. That's it. Jake stood up. Fine. If you're choosing Jordan, I'm leaving. Jake, don't go, Carol said. Just apologize. No, I was right and I'm still right. Jake left the house. After he left, there was silence for a long time. Then Frank spoke. Jordan, what Jake did is unacceptable. But he's our son. I hope you can forgive him. Frank, I forgive Jake. But he needs to show me respect now. Carol also added, Jordan, you're part of this family. Jake's behavior doesn't change that. Oliver squeezed my hand. Jordan, I love you so much. I'm so sorry for what Jake did. Oliver, these aren't your fault. After that night, family dynamics completely changed. Carol and Frank truly accepted me as a family member. They were no longer under Jake's influence. Jake, however, didn't talk to us for months. He wasn't coming to family gatherings, wasn't calling or seeing Oliver. 3 months later, Jake's friend Tommy called me. Jordan, Jake is in a very bad state. He's depressed. He thinks he's lost his family. Tommy, Jake made his own choice. I know, but maybe you can give him a chance. He's really sorry. I didn't know if Jake was sorry or not, but I could see Oliver was sad. He missed his big brother. A week later, Jake called me and said he wanted to talk. We met at a cafe. Jake had changed a lot. He had lost weight, looked tired. Jordan, I want to talk to you. I'm listening, Jake. I made a very big mistake. I was unfair to you. Continue. I was afraid of losing Oliver. He's my little brother. I always protected him. When you came, I thought I could lose him. Jake, I wasn't trying to take Oliver from you. I know that now. But I couldn't see it then. I was blinded by jealousy. Jake continued with tears in his eyes. You make Oliver happy. I can see that now. And I ruined everything. Jake, you're Oliver's big brother. That doesn't change. But he won't even talk to me now. I'm out of my family. Jake, if you're really sorry, We can fix this situation. How? First, you need to apologize to everyone. Then you need to change your behavior. And most importantly, you need to respect Oliver's choices. Jake nodded. I'll do everything. I just want to return to my family. That week, Jake apologized to everyone. To Carol, Frank, Oliver, and me. He wrote long apology letters. In his apology letter to me, he wrote, Jordan, I feel deep regret for what I did to you in the past 6 months. I tried to separate you from Oliver, sabotaged your wedding, tried to create prejudice against you and my family. These behaviors are unacceptable. You're a wonderful person who makes Oliver happy. I'm sorry I couldn't see this. I now understand that you add value to Oliver's life. I hope you can forgive me. From now on, I'll show you the respect you deserve, Jake. When I read the letter, I felt Jake was sincere. A month later, Jake slowly started returning to family gatherings. He was now respectful toward me, not interfering with Oliver's decisions. 6 months later, Jake said to me at a family dinner, Jordan, you really are the right person for Oliver. I've never seen him this happy. Thank you, Jake. I was very stupid. Instead of trying to distance you from us, I should have tried to get to know you. A year later, my relationship with Jake had completely returned to normal. He was now really like a brother-in-law. In fact, last month Jake got engaged. At the engagement ceremony, he came to me. Jordan, I hope I can find the happiness you and Oliver have. You will, Jake. And this time, no one will be able to take it from you. Jake smiled and nodded. Today, Oliver and I have a very happy marriage. Jake is now also our supporter. Carol and Frank really see me as their son. But the story didn't end there. Jake's transformation process wasn't easy and we faced many challenges. The first challenge was Jake's pride. It took months for him to apologize. After our first meeting, Jake tried to back down several times. Oliver had told me, after Jake called and apologized to you, he called me and started saying maybe I was right. What did you tell him? I spoke clearly to him. I said, Jake, either you'll really change or you'll completely get out of our lives. This harsh approach really shook Jake. The risk of losing his brother motivated him to action. The second challenge was regaining the family's trust. Carol and Frank were still distant toward Jake. At a family dinner, Carol had said to Jake, Jake, you poisoned us against Jordan for 6 months. How will this trust return? Jake couldn't answer. Regaining trust required time and patient effort. The third challenge was my trust in Jake. No matter how much he apologized, I was still cautious toward him. One day, Oliver asked me, Jordan, did you really forgive Jake? I forgave, but didn't forget. Time will tell if Jake has changed. I was right. Jake's real test came later. In the 4th month, Jake's old behavior patterns started emerging again. At a family gathering while discussing Oliver's career, Jake again showed interfering attitudes. Oliver, this project is too risky for you. Maybe you should consider safer options, Jake said. Oliver got angry. Jake, you're starting again. Don't interfere with my decisions. I'm just giving advice. No, you're trying to control again. During this argument, Jake momentarily returned to the old Jake, turning to me. Jordan, do you also support Oliver's decision? This question was a trap. Jake was again trying to pit Oliver and me against each other. Jake, I said calmly. Oliver's decisions are his decisions. As his husband, I support him. But this risk, Jake, I interrupted. You brothers might want to discuss this privately. I'll step outside. Jake was surprised. He expected me to interfere, to try to influence Oliver. But I had given Jake an opportunity. Oliver then turned to Jake. Do you see Jake? Jordan doesn't interfere, doesn't try to pit us against each other. Why were you doing this? This moment was an enlightenment for Jake. He understood that I really wanted Oliver's happiness, wasn't trying to control him. That evening, Jake called and apologized. Jordan, I made my old mistakes again today. You behaved very maturely. Jake, the change process takes time. What's important is that you notice. You're right. I'm still acting with the instinct to protect Oliver. But now I understand that you protect him better than me. After this conversation, Jake really started to change. In the 5th month, we saw the clearest indicator of Jake's change. Oliver got a promotion offer, but this required moving to Seattle. Old Jake would definitely have opposed it, would have suggested, don't move away from family. But new Jake behaved very differently. Oliver, this is a great opportunity, Jake said. You and Jordan can build a new life in Seattle. Oliver was surprised. Jake, are you supporting us moving? Of course. If you'll be happy, I'll be happy, too. This attitude change affected everyone. Jake was now really putting Oliver's happiness before his own desires. In the 6th month, Jake's biggest test came. His old friend Mike started saying bad things about me to Jake. Jake, you were right about Jordan. He distanced Oliver from his family. Old Jake would have agreed with these words, even supported Mike. But new Jake reacted very differently. Mike, you don't know Jordan. He's a wonderful person and makes Oliver very happy. Don't talk about this topic. But Jake, I used to be stupid. Now I see the truth. Mike told this conversation to Oliver. Oliver came to me. Jordan, Jake defended you against Mike. He's really changed. This incident proved Jake's change was real. In the 7th month, Jake also started making changes in his own love life. Jake, who had been single for a long time, finally started dating someone. He had met a girl named Amy, but this time he approached it very differently. Jordan, he had said to me, I want to introduce Amy to our family. But first, I want to get your opinion. My opinion? Yes. You're Oliver's husband. You're part of this family. Whether you like Amy or not is important. This approach showed how much Jake had changed. He now really saw me as a family member. When I met Amy, she was a very sweet girl. Jake looked really happy with her. Jake, Amy is wonderful, I said. You look very happy too. Thank you, Jordan. When I'm with Amy, I take you and Oliver's relationship as an example. How so? I see how you show respect to each other, how you support each other. I'm trying to build such a relationship with Amy too. These words really moved me. Jake was now taking our relationship as an example. In the 8th month, we saw the most beautiful proof of Jake's real change. Oliver's birthday was approaching, and Jake wanted to organize a surprise party. Jordan, I need your help for Oliver's birthday. Of course, Jake, what can I do? You know him better. What does he like? What doesn't he like? Which friends should I invite? Jake now accepted me as the person who knew Oliver best. This was a very big change. We worked together on party preparations. Everyone saw how much Jake had changed on the party night. At the party, Jake gave a speech. Oliver, you're my little brother and I love you very much. In the past, I was unfair to you and Jordan. But now I see how happy Jordan makes you. You two are a perfect couple. This speech moved everyone. Jake was no longer just accepting our relationship. He was actively supporting it. In the 9th month, Jake and Amy got engaged. At the engagement ceremony, Jake wanted me to be his best man. Jordan, would you be my best man? This offer surprised me. Jake, are you serious? Yes. You taught me a lot. What real love is, being patient, forgiving. You have a part in my happiness. With Amy. I stood by his side as best man at the engagement ceremony. Jake's old friends were surprised. Mike came to me. Jordan, Jake has really changed a lot. He used to not like you at all. People can change, Mike. Jake proved that. In the 10th month, Jake and Amy's wedding preparations began. This time, Jake was behaving very differently. Jordan, Amy's family is very curious about our family. You and Oliver are an exemplary couple for them. Why? Because you really love and support each other. Amy's family wants such a relationship too. Jake seeing us as an exemplary couple was very ironic. The man who once tried to separate us was now taking us as an example. In the 11th month, Jake's wedding approached. In wedding preparations, Jake consulted me on every topic. Jordan, what can I learn from you and Oliver's wedding? What mistakes should I avoid? Hearing this question, I once again understood how much Jake had changed. He was now even taking our wedding that he sabotaged as an example. Jake, the most important thing is Amy's happiness. Think about whether every decision will make her happy. Just like you do to make Oliver happy. Yes, exactly like that. In the 12th month, Jake's wedding day came. At the wedding, I was both best man and speaker. In my speech, I said, Jake, a year ago, you were a very different person. But you learned real love, managed to change. Amy, You're very lucky because Jake is a person who can really change and grow. Jake's eyes were filled with tears. After my speech, he came to me. Jordan, thank you for the patience you showed me this year. Without you, I couldn't have experienced this happiness. Jake, you changed with your own effort. I just gave you an opportunity. On the wedding night, Jake and Amy were very happy. Jake was now a completely different person. Today, Jake and Amy are married and very happy. Jake is now really a good brother-in-law. His relationship with Oliver is even stronger than before. Last week, Jake said to me, Jordan, you created a very important change in my life. Not just in my relationship with Oliver, but also in my relationship with Amy. You taught me what real love is like. Jake, you were already ready to learn. I was just the trigger. No, Jordan. You did much more. You forgave me, showed patience, gave me opportunity. Anyone else would never have forgiven me. Jake was right. When I played those voice recordings at that family dinner, I could have completely destroyed Jake. But instead, I had given him a chance to change. Oliver had also said about this. Jordan, the mercy you showed Jake didn't just change him, it changed our whole family. Now we're all a stronger family. Carol and Frank also appreciated this situation. Jordan, Carol had said, by forgiving Jake, you gave him a second chance. This is great magnanimity. Frank had also added, Jordan, you're truly one of the most valuable members of this family. Today, my relationship with Jake is perfect. He's now really like a big brother. He gives advice about my work, supports my relationship with Oliver, even sometimes asks for advice on marriage matters. Last month, Jake had said, Jordan, Amy, and I had a small disagreement. How do you and Oliver handle such situations? Hearing this question made me laugh. Jake, who once tried to separate me from Oliver, was now asking me for marriage advice. The most important change is Jake's perspective. He no longer sees Oliver as little brother who needs protection, but as an adult individual living his own life. Jordan, he had said, I always saw Oliver like a little child, but he's now an adult man and can make his own decisions. You make him feel this too. When I put my phone on the table at that family dinner, I didn't just expose Jake's lies. I also gave him a real opportunity for change. Jake had asked Oliver's mother, Carol, is Jordan really the right person? Today, Jake asks the same question in a different context. Am I the right person for Amy? Because he now sees me as a role model. Sometimes, instead of taking revenge, revealing the truth and forgiving creates a stronger impact. Jake's story is the most beautiful example of this.